Hello, hello, hello. Put some cream on his arms and hands real quick. And Tara will be in here shortly. Hey ladies, oh there she is. Okay, so hey lady.
You look so pretty. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Girl, I'm good. I'm tucked away in the closet. Literally.
Away from the little one? That is so funny.
Tucked away in the closet because my daughter took him in the living room. They're watching a movie. And I was like, you know what? I am not going to tempt fate and try to walk over there and go to my office. My closet is clean. So come on in.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
Exactly. So
welcome,
yes.
ladies. Okay, so I put it in the title when I started the live, but I'm actually going to put it in a comment and pin it.
Yep. Come on in, ladies. We are going to have some really good conversation this evening. So grab a glass of wine or something. Miss Keith, are you laughing at me because I'm tucked away in the closet? Don't laugh, girl. Listen, we got to do what we got to do to get this done. So if you are joining us, first of all, thank you for being here. Star is pinning this in the comments, but we're just going to have some chatting tonight about love and money. And so if you're just coming on in, let us know where you're from. If you know Star, if you know me, all that good stuff while she is doing that. Tonight's gonna be good. I'm excited.
I'm a little bit nervous because I never share this much information about myself. So I'm a little bit like,
I literally almost was like, girl, what if we just tell this part and not the whole part, and then we do that for the private chat? Girl. So I feel you. And ladies, you guys will understand what she's talking about once we start sharing what we share. But I believe that there is, I know people are saved by our testimony. I truly believe that there is something that we are going to share this evening that is going to free other women. And so, I'm willing to go there, if you will. I'm willing to go there. I should have brought my light. You're like so pretty. I'm looking at myself like, I need my light. I need my glow. But I ain't going back out of here. It's gonna be what it is.
Girl, I be thinking to myself, like when I get up to move, before I have to go back by them kids, I will have my hands will be like this because I'm taking everything with me in one walk. Okay.
Wait, Star, I was walking like this. I was like he not gonna see my tail moving by, but I was like, if I walk like this, he won't get to see me because I'm hiding out. Girl. I'm hiding out. So thank you for you all who have joined us. We're gonna get started. And Star, I know this is your live, so I'll let you introduce yourself first, and then I'll introduce myself.
First of all, don't do that. This is our live, okay?
Well, you know what I mean. It's your... Okay, so, this is our live, yes.
So first thing first, welcome. We're doing, let's just reiterate. So Love and Money Chats is going to be a 2-week experience. There are 4 dates in the Love and Money Chats with Tara and I. Today is the only day that's going to be on social media. So we decided to kick off day 1 on social media. And moving forward, they're going to be in a private setting because love and money is kind of private.
Yeah, it's super private.
For us to be able to be really for it to be interactive and for everyone to feel safe sharing their experiences and things like that, we're going to put it in a private Zoom. And so just know that today is the only day that it's going to be here on social media. But today, Tara said, like previously, we have decided to go ahead and share our stories publicly, but we don't expect everybody else to share their stories publicly. So today we're on social media. Starting Wednesday, we'll be on Zoom. So if you already signed up via Eventbrite at the link in either of our bios for the Love and Money Chats, you'll be receiving an email with the Zoom link for the next 3 sessions, as well as the workbooks and all the goodies and the freebies and all that stuff that comes along with this experience. Yes. So that's the first thing.
That's the first thing. So you have to sign up. Like she just said, we are here tonight, one night only for the public, like one night only in the public. So if you enjoy this experience, if you ever have conversations with your girlfriends, which we know a lot of y'all don't, y'all talk about everything else, but y'all don't talk about the important things of like really that love and money side of life. But this is going to be the only time we share it out here. So if you've not signed up, stay here for now, but then when it's over, go to our bios and get that Eventbrite link so you'll be on the list. So like she just said, you get the freebies, all the other follow-up stuff, and then be able to really engage in those conversations, because we are doing what is going to be transformative. It's not just going to be, oh, and get your money right, get your heart. No, like it's transformative. And so that's what that is. So
and the whole experience is free, just FYI. Yeah. So want to put that out there.
Right.
So so I'll introduce myself first. So my name is Star Malone-Sone. I am the founder of She Building Her. I'm a financial strategist. She Building Her is a financial consulting agency. And so we help women in a variety of areas of personal finance. And so we do like our probably most popular service or area of expertise is stock market investing, because that's what is seductive and that's what draws people in. But if I've ever gotten you in my web, you know that budgeting is bae for me. So if I get you in my web, even with stock market investing, I'm always going to continue to teach about budgeting. So we focus on budgeting, debt repayment, planning for retirement, stock market investing, and what did I leave out? Oh, saving, how to save properly and effectively to meet your short-term and long-term financial goals. And so I have a ton of different ways to work with me. They're all listed on my website. They're all listed under the link in my bio. Most notably, I have a private investment group starting March 14th called PSIG, and that is, again, at the link in my bio. 7 seats left in that group. Thank you. And that's about it for me. So I'm sorry. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, Northern California. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 2 boys. I'm an HBCU graduate, Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I guess my background is actually not in the finance space. It is in microbiology. So I came from the biotech industry for a long time.
Very well. So that's Star, y'all. She got the chops. Like, she has the chops. For those of you who maybe have not met me, I know I'm looking at different names, and I know we have a nice little merged crowd here, which is lovely. My name is Tara Stidham. I am the founder and owner of She Date Savvy. I teach professional women how to successfully date online. That's how I met my good husband, because anybody could get a husband, but I met my good husband online. And so now I teach ladies how to do that in a lot of different ways. I do master classes where small groups of ladies get together, and I teach you from A to Z. Everything I know about online dating, I teach you. I also do one-on-one coaching where, you might need a bit more help with the heavy lifting. And so I'm helping you get your profile together. I'm going online with you, all those good things. And then kicking off in March, my group coach program, because what I realized is that there's just one of me, but there's a whole lot of y'all. And so I'm not going to stop helping and teaching you all. So We definitely have moved into that group space of, you know, really small groups of ladies getting together and learning how to online date, as well as just have that support system as you navigate relationships. So that's what I do. By profession, I am a TV producer. So I come from a, you know, creative background. So stars super smart, and I'm all like, just give me that right brain. Like I can only, my right brain works really, 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 really well. I am a mom, and I am a wife and daughter, and I'm in Houston, Texas, which is why tonight is the kickoff instead of last week, right? H-Town was clowny last week with the snow and the ice and all this stuff. So thank you all for joining us, because I know we are literally 1 week late, but we're excited to get into this conversation. So we're going to get into how this conversation actually came about.
Before we jump right in, we're not going to spend too much time on this, but I don't know how I missed it, and I don't know if y'all saw, but my good sis Tara here is on a flyer with, okay, Kris Jenner.
Don't hurt him.
And Sarah Jakes Robert. When I seen it, I was like,
yeah,
girl,
yeah.
Want to do it?
Ooh, every time. Like,
want to do it? Okay, so we're not gonna get too far now, but y'all go to She
that's
Savvy.
A whole nother conference. But if you go to my page, you can see that thing. Yeah, like God has done a lot of. Ooh, see.
No, we're not gonna get it.
But no, we're not. But here's the thing, and this is why we are telling and sharing our testimonies, y'all, because there is a freedom that comes along with it. Had I not even stepped out on faith to start a business and say, hey, I want women to not be ashamed of and not have the stigma of, oh, I'm online dating, because a lot of ladies still deal with that, even though there's nothing wrong with it. Like the Wall Street Journal had a story today talking about how many people just in the last quarter of last year are online dating, because guess what? It just makes sense now, especially because we're in a pandemic, right? Like, and so being able to, again, share my story, and then tonight sharing a part of my story that I've never shared. Like it was a conversation with Star and I when we were just kind of like, well, tell me more about you and how'd you get started and all of that stuff. And I was like, oh Lord, we're gonna have to talk to the ladies about it. So you want to go first? Or?
No, you go ahead.
So here is the thing. Here's my story. Like I told you, my background is in TV. I lived in Los Angeles for about 7 years. While out there, I worked on a talk show, very popular show. And I spent a lot of time away from home. I was a single mom at the time. You know, the nanny was picking my daughter up from school. She was either with the nanny on the weekends or with her friends. It was just a really crazy life. And I wanted a different life. They compensated me very well for the BS I put up with. Let's be very clear. Right? Like it came with a price tag. They compensated me very, very well for that life. Okay. And I finally got to the point where I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like I was at the point of having panic attacks. It was just really, really bad. And so in the spring of 2014, I decided, okay, I'm going to move back home to Houston. And at the time I was so done with TV. I was like, I don't even want to work in TV no more. Like I was like, I'm going to go work at the Starbucks. And again, this is nothing against Starbucks. I was like, I'm going to be a fantastic barista. I'm going to get all the tips. I'm going to be good, right? Like that was going to be life for me. And so I applied at a station here locally, and I was like, well, if I get that, cool. And as God would have it, things just started lining up. Okay. Now I'm a girl, I'm a saver, right? Like I love to save my money. I don't play around with my dollars. So I had money saved. But here's what was going on. I was going to be moving from Los Angeles, moving to Texas, and my decision was going to either be get a place of my own and or pay for private school for my daughter, because the area that I was going to move in, either move in with my parents and pay for private school for my daughter, or get a place of my own, which would be a bit more expensive, but the school was, would be better. So I opted with the second choice, more expensive place, better school. Cool. And so I got to a point where, you don't even realize, like, sometimes you're just so done with situations. You're like, I'm done. I got to be up out of here. What I didn't realize, though, is that the sacrifice I was making on the financial standpoint. So here I go. I was making well in the six figures. And when I moved to Houston, I was going to be making an hourly wage. Okay. I couldn't have told you what my hourly wage was. I don't know what it was because I got paid by the week. I got paid enough in a week that was some people's monthly salary, right? Like that's how. So here I go. I'm making this hourly salary, and I get to what at the time I had a number. My number was 10. Like nothing get less than $10,000, right? Like at least if I got 10 somewhere, if you got to get up out of a spot, do something, that $10,000 will get you somewhere, right? That'll get you some rent paid. So that was always like, okay, as long as I got that. And so that 10 started dwindling, like quick, fast, in a hurry. And I just was like, oh my God, okay, I could downsize the apartment. I'm like trying to figure out my life. And then comes this man. Around the same time, I meet my husband. Now, I'm all kinds of jacked up. And it was so crazy. There were parts of me and times where I'm like, God, how are you going to send me this great guy when I'm so jacked up? Because I just felt, as you know, with money, we always feel guilty. We always feel shame. There's like all this stuff that is surrounding the money. I'm like, God, how are you going to send me this great guy? And I feel like I'm a complete mess. And I used to tell him in the beginning, I used to be like, I used to make this much money. And and he's like, I don't care about that. But I felt so shame, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, I'm poor now. Like, I don't have any money. Like, it's really, really getting bad. And so I was thinking, well, if I can tell him, like, but I used to have money. Like, I'm not, especially because what happens, when people see you're in a certain situation, sometimes people judge you and you're like, okay, well, I don't want you to judge me because I don't want you to think that I just like spent through my money. I made a decision that was going to change my life. And so then I was living with the sacrifice side of it, right? People don't talk about the sacrifice. Everybody come on, y'all see the flyer. But again, tonight it's talking about, I didn't know I was going to get this emotional, but the reason I'm sharing, again, this is super personal. I ain't never told about this stuff. But the reason I'm sharing this is because there are people out there, there are ladies out there who are ready to get to whatever the next whatever is going to be. And they're not willing to make that sacrifice because they don't know. And I'm telling you, sometimes the sacrifice is going to be ugly. Like, it's going to get ugly, okay? Literally down to your last dime and then some, right? And so here I am. I met this wonderful guy. And I'm like, oh, God, how's this going to work? And so I remember one day he was at my apartment, and probably I had gotten a call from a bill collector, like, to keep it all the way real. And he's like, what's going on? And of course I didn't answer the phone, right? So I'm just like, I'm just like there. I'm like, I don't know. He need to stop calling me. He know I'm with you, right? So he's like, so what's going on? And so I told him, I was like, look, things are ugly. Like, I used to make this, don't make that anymore. And I'm like, it's not pretty, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And so as we continue to talk and get to know one another, because by now we're in a full-on relationship, and he's like, well, first of all, what's going on with your finances? So I'm like, well, here's what's going on. At the time when I moved from California, my brother, and this was before my money even got bad, my brother, as a gift to me, was like, hey, T, what you need? I'm gonna pay for your mover. So my brother had given me like a loan of like $3,000. I'm like, thank you. But I was paying him back, right? And so when husband found out, he was like, no. He's like, okay, give your brother back this much money. So he, first of all, paid my brother back. Mm-hmm. So that, because here's what he knew. And ladies, again, when you get the right one and they come in with the right mindset, he's not going to feel right to be with you as his woman and you owing people. Okay. So he was like, no, let's get your brother paid. So he did that. And so then as we continue to talk, he's like, so what are you going to do? I was like, well, as soon as I get more money, I'm going to pay everything off. He's like,
it don't work like that. It don't work like that.
He's like, it ain't going to happen. He's like, you're going to be throwing good money after bad. I'm like, but no, I'm as soon as because I didn't want to not pay my stuff, right? Like I didn't want to not pay my stuff. And the crazy thing is I was actually, when I left LA, going to be in a great financial position. I had just paid off my car, and like the October before I left, right? And I left that next summer. Girl, why my car got totaled 2 weeks before I left? Lady ran on the freeway in LA on 110. She didn't have any insurance. So I was like, damn it. So I had to get a new car. So again, what I had planned out was already looking crazy. And so we had a conversation one day, and he's like, you need to file for bankruptcy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not doing that. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, you are never going to get out of this hole. And it took some convincing, because again, I'm thinking, no, that's bad. And that's, you know, why am I going to do that? And I can work my way. I can get myself out of this situation. I just need to make more money. And so he's like, no. And so again, husband to the rescue, found me an attorney, paid that attorney, because court, here's the broke of the brokenness. I didn't even have enough money to pay for the bankruptcy attorney, because I just, again, you had your basic but not the other. And so what he did in doing that literally helped me get a whole new lease on life. What I thought was a negative, because my income had drastically, severely decreased, was actually not, because I made so little. When they looked at me, they're like, oh, we can excuse all your debt, right? And I was like, oh my God. So I wasn't having to play the chapter 13 where you pay something. They were like, you ain't got no money. Look, go sit down. You don't have to pay people back, and just go on with your life. And so it really, again, was one of those situations where I never thought I would be in that situation, especially to not have to be vulnerable enough to tell somebody, like, I'm broke, like I'm broke. And so I learned a lot. Obviously that was a big old lesson, and something to have to go through with somebody new within 6 months of dating, right? Like, and I would almost say, like, I don't advise you ladies to do that, but I'm sharing it because there are going to be some guys out there who are willing to go through that with you, right? And so I know that there's so many ladies right now, who are dealing with something, who are going through whatever they're going through financially. And as a result are like, well, no, I don't, you know, nobody's going to want me. Nobody's going to, you know, and if I had sat in that moment, if anyone has ever heard my story talk, I see Nikki's on here. Y'all know I went online to go have fun. Like, I was not looking for a husband, right? I was not looking. So I was actively dating, even though my situation was like, oh, girl, you ain't got no money, so maybe I was looking for some dinner. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I was in a situation. Maybe I was in a situation where I was like, okay, well, let me at least, I can have some dates, even though I'm a little bit. But I really, I think that ladies need to hear that side of the whole relationship. I wrote a whole book, and I never talked about my financial side, because honestly, at the time, I didn't think it was time to share that. Like, I think it was just going to take away from the story. But for such a time as this, where so many people have gone through 2020 and things have been jacked for a lot of people, things have been completely jacked. And so I wanted to share that in a moment of like sincere transparency. Again, I ain't told nobody. We're going to have to, felt cute, but we're going to delete this later. Yeah. We're going to take it down. But I really, if you're here, you got to hear it. Otherwise, I'm like, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. But I wanted to share that because I realized that so many ladies, again, deal with the shame of what their situation is that has nothing to do with them. I wasn't out there buying bags and shoes. And no, we were just living our lives. And like, your income's what it went down. It was significantly, just less than what I had been used to making. And life happened real fast, and so I wanted to share from that standpoint of good things happen. I mean, bad things happen to good people all the day long. but also that you are still worthy of love. You know, like even in those moments of feeling like, oh, I ain't got it together, I'm this, I'm that, you're still worthy of love. And like literally if somebody is out there looking to love you, to be a part of your journey with you, and in my case, completely change your life. So that's my love/money chat of the Love and Money chat. So
You want to know what's interesting? I just posted something recently that said like my past money mishaps doesn't define the woman that I am. You know, the one, what is it? It doesn't define the woman, you know, who I am or something like that. Yeah. Because the reality is you'd be surprised at how many women allow money to dictate their self-esteem, their worthiness, their, you know, their everything. Their everything.
It's so true.
You know,
even the kind of relationships they settle for because they feel,
but for sure,
you know, like, oh, well, I'm like this, so I might as well just settle for it. And it's like, no, not hardly, not at all. But that's really poignant. I have a mantra that talks about like, I'm not my past dating mistakes. So it's the same energy of like, okay, yeah, we all, and I ain't going there. Right? Like, I ain't telling all that. That's what we're not going to do. But we are all, you know, we've all experienced things that, you know, like, what is it they say? Like, everybody's got a chapter of their book that they don't want anyone to know about. And so I think that this absolutely fell in that category. But I think now was the time to share. Just again, once we talked and once, you know, started sharing her story, there was just something. It was something kindred about it, and we just knew like, yo, we're not the only ones. Like, you know, it's not just us.
100%. I would say when we initially talked about this, I was like, you know, I told you, I was like, I don't know about this, you know. Because this is a little bit far outside of my comfort zone. Yeah. Like I'm not, so for me, typically, especially if people are on here that know me or have been around for a while or, you know, heard me speak in any capacity, I typically start my journey, like in terms of finances and how I got to where I'm at my corporate America days. Mm-hmm. I started my corporate America days, you know, being around these, you know, white guys or Asian guys that were investing, talking about money and how it played on my self-esteem, and I was feeling small, and you know, and I kind of went on this self-discovery and all this kind of thing that led me to she building her and where I'm at. But if I'm being like 100%, the corporate America thing, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, right? It wasn't the beginning of my journey, you know? Yeah. It was just the last thing in a series of events that led me to realize that I was in a really effed up situation, right? And so just like, so if you don't know me, I guess I would just say, like, to keep it short and sweet in terms of my story, and I know we spoke about this too. I didn't grow up with a super solid foundation of money, how money worked, debt, or investing, or anything. Like I did not grow up with any of this information, any of this knowledge, none of it, right? So by the time I hit 18, like I'm from the Bay Area, so I used to live in Oakland. So by the time I was 18, I had a Target card, right? Because we had like a Target at Bayfair Mall. Like I had a Target card, I had a Macy's card, I had a Sears card. Yes. You know, when I went to college, I racked up a tremendous amount of debt and student loan debt. I took, you know, I took a Capital One card, right? Because they start you off with like that $300 credit card. Like
everything they would give.
Yes. I took like my journey of being where I'm at started by me doing all the wrong shit for a really long time, right? Yeah. And so, like I said, by the time I was 18, I had already racked up an amazing amount of debt. But I was a grade A procrastinator, okay, in life. Okay. So especially in life, but especially in my finances. And so I was the kind of person who, you know, would just, I mean, I just was so negligent when it came to paying bills, staying on top of my finances, or, you know, it was like I almost thought like, oh, you know what, I'll just put this bill in somebody else's address, like in my
Right. And
mom's
it's like, if
address
I
or my
don't see
grandma.
it, I don't.
Out of sight, out of mind. If I don't see it, I don't know. You call me, I'm blocking you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it was just a whole thing. And I was a grade A procrastinator. And it just, I was like stuck in this cycle of, and this is going to sound crazy to some people, but some people is going to be able to relate. I was stuck in this cycle of being the worst possible financial person, no savings, tons of debt. I mean, we can't even talk about investing because I knew nothing about it. Every time they talked about me even if I had a job and it was like, do you want to contribute to a 401k? No, give me my money. I'm gonna file as many dependents as I can on my tax form,
so you can get all your
so
money
I
back.
can get all my money. I'm going exempt. You know, it was just
Everything.
horrible.
Yep.
You know, it was just horrible. And I was that person. And then on top of making all these terrible decisions, I would totally neglect any responsibility surrounding them, right?
Yeah.
And so I got into this cycle of like, and it's so crazy. I would be like, something would happen. Like, for instance, I wanted to get an apartment or a car or something, right? And I would go to get it, and I would get it. And I would be like jumping up and down. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Like, XYZ didn't hit my credit report yet. This didn't come up. That didn't come up. Thank you, Jesus. You're so good. Thank you, God. Right? But then when it was time for my level up and I was going to the next phase.
Come on.
Right? Then I would be crying, calling my mom on the phone. Mom, I just don't understand. When it rains and pours, this came up on my credit, you know, an eviction came up on my credit. This came up on my credit, right? And then, hold on one second, Sydney. And so it would be like, you know, it would be like this. I'm so happy because I didn't catch all my irresponsible decisions didn't catch up with me. Then I didn't totally forgot about that stuff I did years ago. But now it's time for my level up, and it all has caught up with me. Now I'm crying, why me, this and that, all this stuff, right? But then I was stuck in that cycle because then I would just do it again, right? I remember I couldn't get back in college because I took loans and I wasn't supposed to take, didn't go to school that semester, couldn't pay it back. It was just all this stuff, you know, that I was doing. And I would be in this cycle of like, thank you, Jesus, when I got away with it. And then like, why me, God? And then why me, God? When
why did you forsake me, God? Yeah.
Girl, like, and it was really like, when you think about it, it's really some twisted stuff, right? And so it got to the point where I was just like, I had to be like, it's you. It's me. I had to look in the mirror and be like, bruh, it's you. You're the problem here. You know, you are the issue here. When I would call, I would have negative, it was just terrible. Negative bank account, overdraft fees. I would get on the phone trying to reverse overdraft fees. It was just, so many things that I did that were so negligent. When I tell you I was the worst possible person when it came to money and finances. And people look at me now, and it's so funny because people look at me now and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so smart. You have all this information and you give us all this information about stocks and money and all this. And I'll be thinking, and I say it though, like, I guess because I'm new to navigating the social media streets, you know, in entrepreneurship in general, like people who know me know my story. But people who don't know me don't know my story. So they just see the star that's in front of you, right? But I'm thinking, do you know how long it took to gather this information, apply this information to my life, understand what worked and didn't work, and then be able to produce it and teach it to the masses? This was years in the making, right? Like, living it. It was horrible. So then fast forward, like out of my college years and my 20s and stuff, I got to the point where I got like this really great job, right? I got this really great job. I'm well to the multiple six figures being paid. I'm driving the Benz, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
girl, tell me why. This was my breaking point right before like I started to see how the other side was doing it. Tell me why I got to a position where I have to take out a payday loan. Nobody making $200,000 plus a year should be going to take. In California, you can only take a $250 or $300 payday loan. That's the maximum. So to be in a situation where you're making that much money and you need to go take a payday loan for $250, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That is a problem. That was like, that was just, but you know what's crazy? That was only almost rock bottom. That wasn't even rock, like, that was almost rock bottom, right? Because like the reality of that I was the problem was like kind of rock bottom, and then making all this money and still being in a terrible financial situation was like almost rock bottom. But then being exposed to how the other side did things and what they were doing, that was like, that, like I said, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? Because I had all these financial mishaps. They all followed me. Of course. And this was the really terrible thing. You're making the money. You have the college degree. You have the car. You have the on the surface, you're all put together. But all you got fucked up credit. You got hella debt. You can't get, like, I thought it was a normal thing to pay high-ass car notes with high-ass interest because everybody I knew was doing the same thing, right? Everybody I knew had bad credit, so I just thought it was a normal. Right, like, oh, that's just what it is, right? It was like it was just so bad. It was just so bad. Okay, you're in this situation where everybody thinks that you're put together on the outside, but on the inside, you're holding these deep, dark secrets that are weighing on your self-esteem. They're weighing on your mental health.
That's why we're having this chat tonight, Star, because there are ladies listening to you tell your story, and I think when I answered my phone, I can't not answer it when my alarm went off. I can't see how many people are here or if people are commenting. If this is convicting you all in any kind of a way, like, oof. And again, we knew it was going to get deep tonight. You ain't got to speak up here. That's why we go into the private Zoom. But, Star, I think that in sharing what you're sharing, what happens is it didn't start just with you. Like, it literally started with the lessons that we didn't have, right? It started with the lessons that we didn't have. So like you said, when you got out there and you started making it, there was still no knowledge of like, okay, when you make it, you put this much to the side and you do this, and this. And for me, I made it, but because the industry I worked in was so feast or famine, I would literally have almost $20,000 saved, but then you off for 6 months. So now you got to go through your save. So I was constantly always having to level up and love every year. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those like really, really ridiculous situations. What finally got you? I know you said like the straw that I almost broke was having to get that loan, right? What was that thing? Because again, we see the brilliance that is you right now. Like we see buttoned up, bossed up, dollared up and all of that. What was that thing that said, get it together? Like what was that thing, Star?
You know what? Nobody likes to hear this part, but it really came down to a mindset thing. Like it really came to a point where I was like, okay, in my heart, I know that I'm here to have more, to have better, to do better, to be better. I have my son, then I have my son, right? It was just like a whole bunch of things where it just came to a boiling point. So I was just frustrated. I was like, the anxiety of bill collectors calling, then they start calling your people that you use as references. So those people are calling you, so you, the bill collectors are calling you. And then, taking out the loans and, all my money is just like, I'm a slave to the money. Like I thought I was getting this job because I'm bossed up, I this, I that, but you a slave. Like you're working.
Every time you got paid, it's going. Yep.
It's gone, gone. Like it just was too much. And then when I woke up and I saw that people are not around you, are not living like this. Other people, you're making good money Whereas you have all this shit that you have behind that money, but other people are building wealth. Like it is a such concept as building wealth, and it's real. And people your same age, your same degree, your same job, your same everything is doing it. It's happening. And so at that point, you know, I'm very competitive, first of all. You know, secondly, I am like a person who feels like I deserve the best of the best, and that's just the reality, right? And so I just was like, I'm not doing it. It was just kind of like a wake up, like a mindset, it was just like a switch. Like, literally, it was like, fuck
your
that.
epiphany, like, I'm done.
I'm not doing that no more. That's done. It's done. Like, I don't give a damn what else is going on. It's done. I'm not doing this. I refuse to go into any other year of my life like this. What future is in this for me? Wow. There's nothing on the other side of this, you know, and that was that. And then I just was like, after that, then I was like a beast. There was no stopping me. I was like, I'm about to beast this out. If I can get a goddamn degree, this little black girl from Oakland can get a degree in microbiology, land a goddamn $200,000 salary at Genentech in San Francisco, my ass can learn how to invest and manage my money.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm about to beast this out. Ain't nobody in here smarter than me. I'm about to get this done. You know, and that's just what it was. That's just how it went. So,
wow. Oh my God.
I would hope that if you guys are on here and if you guys are listening, because you guys do see me today, right, in 2021. I don't know if it's just Tara or both of us are pause, but in 2021, yes, right? But this is years in the making. So I always try to tell people at the end of the day, whatever is in your past really does not matter, right? We're not ever looking in the rearview mirror, right? Like it's only up from here. And I say it and I mean that with every bit of conviction in my heart. Nothing else matters besides what you're going to do today and tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's it. You can come back from anything.
Listen, so remember, the same girl who had to file for bankruptcy because it was like, I can't pay these people, came time, and so I say, what do you call it? I had a car, and they were like, do you want the car? I'm like, nope, I don't want that car, because I didn't like the car anyway, and I was like, let me get another one. And so it wasn't even a repossession. They just did like, okay, well, we're going to take it back. They can, come pick it up, like, cool. And then when it was time to get a car, the first car, like, when I was in the bankruptcy, of course, my interest rate was super high. When it was all said and done, and I got out of that car, I think like 2 years ago, I got a 4% interest rate financed through BMW Motor Credit. Okay, so that lets you know the work that I did to be able to get a 4%. Even when I was making money, I don't think I ever had that kind of an interest rate. And so I share that because, again, people will feel like, oh, but if I file bankruptcy, I'll never. Trust me, I came out on the other side. Higher limits, better car, like, you get it? And being super responsible because I knew this was my second chance. I wasn't messing that up for nobody, no thing. And so it's really, really important, much like what Sarah's saying, like, yes, you know what our bottom was, but you can see now, like, yeah, it was a journey. There was some hard work. I know that was not easy to pay off debt and go back through. And, like, I was able to level up in an easy way because I did qualify for the Chapter 7. But if I would have had to pay that off, I know that would have been a lot. So for you to be able to go back in and get stuff done and cleaned up and learning those lessons, ladies, these are the things we want to talk to y'all about. Right? Like, this is literally what we want to talk to y'all about with the rest of these conversations. And again, that's why we're taking them to a private place because we're not expecting, what I know from my classes is that ladies will come and they will sit in the corner and just be quiet, but they getting them gems, right? And so we understand that some of y'all might be that way. We understand some of you may be more vocal and have questions. If you do, again, we think that it might be paused on both ends. If you have questions for us this evening, DM them to us. If you've not already signed up, be sure to sign up. Because that's where you're going to get the first lesson we're doing. I'm going to talk about the heart work, right? Like, just kind of like what you need to even do to get your heart prepared. But even if you're like, oh my God, my finances is a mess. Okay, that's cool.
but at some point they're not gonna be, because Star got you. She's gonna gather you up real quick. And so you gotta be in a place where you don't you're not taking that to heart. Like, okay, it was a situation. Like I said, I wasn't over there just throw it in the bag. Like I wasn't on some, that's just not what I was doing. It was a circumstance and a situation. But I also, you said something, Star, that really made me think. And there was a point in time where I had to own my stuff, because I remember having to tell stories to bill collectors, right? And I would always be like, oh, well, yes, this happened with blah, blah, blah. And I would bring other folks in the story, what they did or didn't do. And I had to stop and say, stop, because you still got to own your own stuff, right? So you can't be like, oh, well, this didn't happen on time, so I didn't. No, I had to stop and own my own part of it, right? My responsibility, like what is Tara responsible for? And so I think that it just, again, ladies, if you're hearing this, even if you're here live, if you're hearing on the replay, the purpose of these love and money chats is we just want to get real with y'all. First of all, let you know, if you are dealing with this, you're not the only ones. Yeah, really. But then that there's an other side. Like there is literally an other side, but you got to start somewhere. Like you have to start somewhere. For me, it was having that conversation and saying, yo, my stuff is real messed up right now. For Star, it was, ain't no chick better than me. They ain't smarter than me. They ain't better than me. Like, because that's real. Like when you get up, like, they ain't better than me. Like Kanye, these better. Nah, they ain't better than me. Literally, because that's the energy I move with. And sometimes that's how you got to get yourself pumped up the way you need to. Like, oh my God, no. Like, they are so not better than me for me to be over here struggling, looking crazy when I know I can do better. So
100%. And you know what? Like in terms of my segment, which is going to be preparing for prosperity, like everybody is looking for the quickest, fastest, most profitable way to fix their finances and to be amazing financially. But even if I gave you $1 million right now, you will blow it, right? Because you have no idea how to even flip $1 million to make it continue to work for you. So it's like one of those things where like, A, we need to get the mindset together. B, we need to stop holding on to that deep, dark secret, that embarrassing thing. Free yourself from all that bullshit that's holding you down, that don't belong to you, that's not a reflection of who you are. I don't care if it was who you was yesterday. If the day before, if 2 hours before you got on this call, that might have been you. But if that ain't you right now, it ain't you right now, and let it go. You see what I'm saying? Like we got to let go, get rid of all that. So those are going to be a couple of things. And then of course, a ton of tips and tricks on how to maximize love, your mindset for love, for money, for all that stuff moving forward, so that we could just have healthy, prosperous life moving forward in regards to both areas, because we all deserve love and we all deserve prosperity. That's just the reality of the situation. One of the women that I follow, what's her name? TC Atkinson's. Have you ever heard, her? Well, her name is TC Atkinson's, and she said the other day, she said, the universe only says yes. And I had never heard it phrased like that, but she was basically saying, like, if you say, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get this, the universe is going to be like, yes, girl, you never going to get it.
Never going to get it.
But if you be like,
speak that out there, you speak,
whatever you put out, the universe only says yes. And when she said that, I was like, oh my goodness, that makes so much sense, right? So in terms of us just like moving to the next phase, for money, for love, for us just being whole, complete beings and being able to love ourselves even, we just got to make sure that we're doing the work, that we're laying the foundation, you know what I'm saying? Moving forward.
You can have a great life. Like, ladies, I don't believe that we're supposed to live in lack. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't believe that we're supposed to live in lack. And it doesn't mean, oh, we gonna go and blow it and spend it. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Because trust, I'm the chick who want to call and check the bank account. Period. Like, I like calling. I like to hear the numbers. My husband, let me tell you, he was laughing at me. He's like, I bet you got this much money. So I was like, okay, and why? And he just started laughing because he's like, because I know you, right? And again, we on some what's mine is his, what's his is mine. Like, ain't nobody, like, there's nothing that man could ever ask me for that I wouldn't do. You get it? Like we don't even operate like that. But I also, because I do maintain my independence in a lot of ways financially. I do want to make sure that, yes, I have, because again, when you've been there, when you've been broke, when you got to go to the bankruptcy court and you sitting there waiting for somebody to tell you whether they're going to grant you up out of the situation you in, you don't never want to be that broke again. You don't ever, ever, ever want to be broke, because that's literally what it feels like. They could still deny it. The judge could still say, we think you might have 3 pennies. Go figure it out.
So, run them.
Run all them people their money. Like literally. So being in a situation where, yes, I still want my money, but I still also know that there are things that I like. So we're not, saying, oh, well, when you get your money right, you got to go live like, no, but you could be smart about it. Like, it's about being smart about it.
Strategic.
Very, very, very strategic. So that's what the love and money chats are going to be all about.
You like my jazz hands? Y'all, just when we was recording those promo clips, I kept being like, and she was like, what's the jazz hands about? I was like, I have no idea why my hands keep coming into the frame, but I keep doing it.
Out there. I'll put the outtakes out there so y'all can see it. But ladies, we hope that you all have enjoyed this conversation. If you're watching it in the replay, again, go sign up. If you are watching it with us live, we can't see the comments because it's kind of stuck. So if you have specific questions, feel free to DM us. But we will see y'all on Wednesday when we kick this off for real in the private chat in the room. No holds barred. No judgment.
Share your experiences. We're there for you to share your experiences as well.
Yeah.
Right? So all that. Okay, Miss, I'm gonna jump off of here so my phone don't. So my phone let me download
we got a few
this.
minutes anyway. Bye, darling.
Okay.
See you. This was fantastic.
See you later. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Good night, y'all.